Friends, hi, welcome to day 18. I hope you're all well. Today's passage is Genesis. We see Jacob on his way, yesterday Jacob was on his way to meet Esau, and today we start off, he's still on the way, and while he's journeying, he meets with some angels on his way, and basically they just remind him that God is with him, that God in the past has promised to look out for him. And yet despite that, despite the reminder and despite all the encounters he's had with God in the past, the promises of God, Jacob is still, maybe understandably, fearing the worst for when he meets his brother. And so as they get closer, he prepares to be attacked. He splits up his family and everything he has into smaller groups, so that if one group is attacked, another group hopefully will still be able to get away. Jacob knows that God is with him, but he doesn't completely trust that, which is why he ends up relying on his strength rather than trusting God, if you like. God who had previously directed him, who had reassured him, all of that, he still doesn't completely trust. And so verse 13 in chapter 32, we see Jacob selects some gifts for Esau out of everything he has. But check out what these gifts are that he selects. Down verse 13 we see, from what he had with him, he selected a gift for his brother Esau. But check this out. 200 female goats, 20 male goats, 200 ewes, 20 rams, 30 female camels with their young, 40 cows, 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys, and 10 male donkeys. Now, if you gave me that for Christmas, I'm not sure I would thank you. I wouldn't really know what to do with them. But Esau at the time obviously would have known what to do with them. But still, it's a pretty massive gift. And if that's just something that Jacob selected from everything he had that he could give away to Esau, I don't know quite how much Jacob had with him on this journey. But he sends these gifts ahead of him to basically try and sweeten Esau up and maybe trying to change his mind, to save Jacob's skin, if you like. So if Esau sees all these things, it'll put a smile on his face, it'll stop him coming out to hunt Jacob down and kill him. And then we get into chapter 33, and, well, here it comes. Jacob looked up, and there was Esau coming with his 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel and the two maidservants. He put the maidservants and their children in front, Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph in the rear. He himself went on ahead and bowed down to the ground 7 times as he approached his brother. It's kind of like saying, okay, the time is here it comes, let's do our thing and just wait for the trouble to come, knowing that it's probably going to be quite bad. In the end, he doesn't have to wait that long. Verse 4, we see, but Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him. He threw his arms around his neck and kissed him, and they wept. Not what we were expecting at all. 20 years of bitterness, of anger, of resentment, of hatred, of, if you like, plotting revenge. It all is swept away in the end by love and by forgiveness. And if you like, there's then joy that is then present at their renewed friendships, at the introduction to each other of family, when they're sharing news. They're starting again. And I wonder today, who is it that maybe you need to reconnect with? Whatever has gone on in the past, however long it has been since you last saw them or spoke to them. Is there somebody that we need to be reconnecting and reconciling with today? On into Matthew, and we see today that Jesus heals this guy who had a withered hand. And the Pharisees weren't happy. They said to him, are you sure it's lawful for you to do that on the Sabbath? Now really it was. It wasn't against the Jewish law of Sabbath for Jesus to heal the guy, but it was against the Pharisees' code. According to the Pharisees, you could only heal someone on the Sabbath if basically their life was in danger, which this guy, it wasn't. So according to the Pharisees, he shouldn't have healed the guy, but Jesus was saying there's nothing against it. And so Jesus turns against them and he says, well, you guys, you would rescue a sheep on the Sabbath, and yet you're saying that I shouldn't rescue a man. Come on, where's the priorities? What Jesus is saying is that God isn't about ritual. He's not about the do's and the don'ts and kind of ticking boxes on the Sabbath. God is about grace. God is about love and mercy and wanting people to be healed. And so from verse 14, we see that from then the Pharisees went out and plotted how they might kill Jesus. This is the first time we see the Pharisees plan that they will kill Jesus. And it basically comes out of Jesus being different to them and saying that God cares more about people than about rules and ritual. From then on, basically, from then until the story of the crucifixion, which we'll see later on, from that point on in chapter 14, the Pharisees are all just out to get Jesus killed. But then we get to verse 30, and there's a challenge laid down that Jesus then sets. We see, he who is not with me is against me, and he who does not gather with me scatters. Jesus is putting down a pretty final challenge there. There's no middle ground. There's no sitting on the fence. And then you get to verse 33, and we see, make a tree good and its fruit will be good, or make a tree bad and its fruit will be bad, for a tree is recognised by its fruit. What Jesus is saying is that we're going to be recognised by the things we do. It's a little bit like if you come to me and you're speaking in French, I'll be able to tell that you're from France. In the same way, if you come to me and you're doing good things, and there's good fruit, if you like, coming from you, I will know a lot about you as a person. Or if someone comes and they're doing bad things, Jesus is saying you can tell a lot about a person from what they do, from the fruit that they bear. Friends, let me encourage you just to trust. Again, let's be trusting the faithful God, the trustworthy, powerful, but loving and forgiving God that we see in today's passages. In the psalm today, Psalm 10, verse 16, we see that the Lord is King forever and ever. And let's just be trusting him. We can't be sitting on the fence. And maybe if you are sitting on the fence, you're not sure what to make of Jesus or of the claims of Christianity, then let me encourage you to do whatever it takes to look into them further and to decide exactly where you stand. If you're age 11 to 18, maybe you're in my youth group in either of the two churches, come along to our Alpha group. We're going to be doing, as part of the youth club at Rye Lane on a Friday night, we're going to be going through looking in a little bit more detail at some of the claims of Jesus, who Jesus said he was, and if they were accurate. And I'd urge you, come along to that and chat those things through. Or if you're older than 18 but you're still unsure, get in touch with me. I'd love to chat through with you if there's anything in particular that is making you unsure or that is leading you to sit on the fence. Bono, the front man of U2, he was once interviewed, and the interviewer said to him, Christ has his rank among the world's great thinkers, but Son of God, isn't that a bit far-fetched? And Bono replied by saying, no, it's not far-fetched. What we're left with is this. Either Christ was who he said he was, the Messiah, or he was a complete nutcase. And the idea that the entire course of civilization for over half of the globe could have its fate changed and turned upside down by a nutcase, now that is far-fetched. Friends, enjoy your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Feel free to get in touch. God bless.